From your PHLV radio family, Merry Christmas and all the best in the coming year.
Merry Christmas from your friends at PHLV Radio.
It's a lunch hour in Vegas, and we're on the dot with Dot and Mia here on PHLV Radio.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to On the Dot. This is Dot.
And I'm Mia. Thank you for joining us on our third episode of On the Dot, where we give you casual yet professional answers to life's questions through effective and professional life coaching processes.
Yes, this is our public service through the PHLV Radio. Thank you so much, PHLV. And this is in cooperation with the University of the Philippines Alumni Association in Nevada. Throughout our program, we will be offering opinions, and coaching processes that would be a good match to the issue at hand. So coaching is not counseling, nor is it psychotherapy. Coaching does not look into your history, nor does it focus on the problem at hand. Instead, coaching approaches the current situation and invites you and whoever is listening, the client, to move forward through an exercise or a process. So before we go further, Mia, on a scale of 1 to 10, all right, I'm going to ask you, 1 being awful, oh no, and 10
Sad
being
face.
awesome. 10 is awesome, 1 is awful. Where are you on the scale?
In terms of
Like overall right now.
my well-being,
Yes.
I would say I'm in an 8.
An 8.
Yeah,
Very
chance for
good.
improvement. Yeah.
Mia, yes. Okay, take it away, Mia. What's next?
So last week we were talking about interracial marriage, and I got a chance to talk with 4 listeners, and they were saying, they were very happy. We got positive feedbacks, and they like the flow, they like the value, that they see value in our show, and they wanted to send in letters, but I guess they were kind of worried about divulging their information. So I told them, you can send in letters, just put anonymous.
Yes.
Or make up a name. a
Yes, like
fictitious name.
Mrs. Superman.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Yeah,
Superman.
but they were very
Okay.
helpful. They were very thankful. And
Yes.
said the show was very
Okay.
helpful, especially in these times.
Yes, we're here to help.
So, yeah.
So what are we
this
talking
week-
about today, Mia?
For this week, we're going to talk about a very important issue, which is very relevant, and which is the main reason why we thought of this program. And the topic for this week is COVID, and is that how you pronounce it? COVID?
I don't know.
COVID.
COVID. Sounds sexy.
Either of the well, but it's COVID and depression. So what is depression? I looked up the simplest way to define it, because they were saying it's a severe state of dejection.
Dejection. Wow.
Yeah, but so I looked up the simplest definition of depression. Definition of depression is depression is a mood or mental disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. So I guess that's the simplest way to define depression.
Yes.
So
Persistent.
yeah. So yeah, our letter sender has a few concerns about depression and COVID and what's happening because of it.
Okay.
So
But does she say?
what happened?
Yeah. What's
She
would you like
cited
to-
one example of a
Would you like to read the letter?
Sure.
Yes.
So the letter sender is Miss Jerry Villa, and the letter goes, "Hello, Mia and Dot. I have a serious concern about the COVID lockdown issue between 2 dating couples. After a serious fight, the boy was determined to make up to go to the girl, but the boy's parents had stopped him from going out due to COVID. The girl was so downhearted, thinking that the boy did not love her, and decided to break up. While the boy did everything to say sorry, the girl did not respond and just texted the breakup and did not answer calls and posted in her social media accounts that she and the boyfriend have broken up. Oh my goodness. After a few days of frustration, the boy attempted suicide by sleeping pills. Oh my goodness. This is just one example of issues, not only with lockdowns due to COVID, leading to depression. Even if in a normal even if in normal times, depression is a very serious dilemma. Please give us advice on how to address this particular case that may likewise help others, especially young adults, in keeping to themselves their mental health and emotional stability. Please give advice to parents too on how to monitor their children's state of mind, especially in situations about distance learning, boredom at home, or too much time in front of the phone, on computers, television, and getting irritated when parents call their attention too much, or the opposite when they don't. Thank you, Dot and Mia, for giving us your recommendations. Love, Jerry Villa.
Thank you for reading the letter, Mia, and thank you for your letter, Jerry. Before we tackle the topic, let's invite our member, our UP Alumni Association of Nevada member, so she can share how her situation is related to today's topic.
So our UP member highlight is a speech communications major graduate from the College of Arts and Letters of UP Diliman, and she is a brand ambassador, MC event coordinator, Miss Annvi Fuller.
Hello, Annvi. Hi.
Hello, Dad. Hi, Mia.
Hi.
So, Annvi, before we go further, I'm looking this way, but she's somewhere there. She's somewhere in the ether. Annvi, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful and 10 being awesome, where are you right now, overall?
Probably like Mia, I'm on the 8.
You're an 8? Yes, just like
Yeah.
Mia. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. You're an 8. So, what jumped out at you, Mia? Annvi, you heard the letter. What jumped out at you?
But basically, just being confined and having all these restrictions set upon you, it's hard for individuals, whatever age we're at, and whatever work we do. It's a little, it pulls on your energy when it's a constant months and months and months of restrictions being put on you.
And so, how can you relate to her?
Well, basically, I'm a very active go-getter. I'm always outdoors and I'm always with people. As Mia's mentioned, I'm an event organizer. So my work and my play involves, both involve, being in gatherings and keeping people together. So this affects me in a way that it makes it, it has made me sad and slowed down and, made me doubt my future a lot of times because now I had to do I reinvent myself? Do I change my friends? Or do I not have friends anymore? So yeah, I mean in that way because, you don't get to see a whole lot of people you're used to, being in relationships, in friendships, and this one in particular in a love relationship. So I'm married, but also at the same time because my husband works in the health industry. It takes a lot of time away from us, like being together. So yeah, it's tough.
Yes,
Tough.
it is tough. Yes. And you mentioned you feel sad and in doubt, and you feel like you need
Yeah.
to reinvent yourself. You're questioning that. I'll get back to that in a bit. How about you, Mia? What stood out for you in the letter?
I think it's more, aside from being confined, it's the parents' involvement in the situation. I mean, he was following the parents. I would think that I'm not sure if this boy is an adult already, but he was following the parents in a way that it took a toll on his mental health. So
Yes.
yeah,
That struck you, huh?
yeah,
Maybe because you're also a parent.
a parent. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. So you said we all heard the letter, and what stood out for me, like you, Mia, the parents, the involvement of the parents, and I assume that the boy, because she said, I don't know if the letter writer is the parent of the boy.
I don't think so. I think she was just telling the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably someone she knows.
Yeah.
So the boy, you don't say a boy if it's a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So probably a young adult. And the COVID, so the lockdown stirs up in us a sense of constriction. Not just the restriction, but the constriction. We feel tight. We feel imprisoned. So that's a very good trigger for depression and sadness that Annvi mentioned. And then doubt. What's going on? What's happening tomorrow? Or how long is this happening? And then if I don't know what's happening next, what should I do? Should I redefine myself, reinvent myself? Should I? What's this breakup all about? Why did they break up? Why is there a break in the communication, a break in the relating? Huh? All right. So the letter writer, Jerry, she said there's also the frustration that the boy attempted suicide by sleeping pills.
Yeah.
Where did he get the sleeping pills? And why did he have them?
The access.
The access.
Yes,
right.
why does he have access to the pills? So right now, if you're a parent and you feel that, or you're a responsible adult at home, and if you feel like someone in the family is very sad or getting depressed,
Or in a situation like that.
any situation, yes, keep your medicines. There's always that label, right? Keep out of reach of children
Yeah. Right.
and pets.
Lock it. Yeah.
Keep your medicines on lockdown. Lockdown the meds, okay? Because you don't want them to be easily accessible to people who are sad within the family. You'd be able to spot them, to sense the feelings of your family members. What else? The assumptions that happened here between the girl and the boy, the social media, which is really not a real time space context for real relationships. And what else? Yes. So if the young man is still living with his Filipino parents, Jerry is a Filipino, right?
I would
I mean,
assume.
yes.
Villa.
The writer is from the Philippines, right?
I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Filipino parents deal with their young adults differently than Western parents do. We are more, I include myself, probably you too, Mia,
Family-oriented.
probably, I don't know if Annvi is the same. We are a little, what's the word, Mia?
Family oriented.
Not just oriented, that we're like mother hens. We like to
protective.
protective.
Overprotective.
Yes.
Overprotective. There
Yes.
you go. I missed the word overprotective.
Overprotective. And it sounds like a caring thing to do, but sometimes it's also constricting for the young adult,
Right.
especially if he or she is moving forward in his life. So
Even
then,
with the love life.
oh, especially the love
Especially
life.
the love life.
Yes.
Especially the
love
mom.
life. So there's your distance learning, there's your boredom, at home, too much time in front of the computer or on the phone, getting irritated when parents call their attention to too much or the opposite, or parents not caring at all. So all of these are all relating aspects in the family communication.
Right.
So you might want to look at our first two episodes. Long distance relationship, we talk about communication. So this is communication is still part of this, right? Okay, and then
It's
the other
always
one. What's the
communication.
other?
Interracial.
Interracial. It's still
Interracial, yeah.
communication.
Yes. So they're all interrelated.
Yeah, so there's the generational distance as well between parents and their young children.
Correct.
Children from the youngest age all the way to young adulthood. And even for children, we call them children, even for children who are out of the house. Sometimes we like to check on them. That's good as long as we're not possessive. So I will go right into the advice because advice is sought out. So I will give the advice and I'll be asking your advice to Mia and Annvi.
Sure.
My first advice is directed to the parents or directed at the parents. You first, mommy, daddy, papa, mama, tatay, nanay, mom and pops, you first. Monitor your own mental and emotional health first and foremost. You're the authority figure at home, okay? You're the one paying the bills. You're the one keeping everybody in check. You're the one checking the doors locked or the safety security of the home. You're the one buying food. You're the first one to wake up, the last one to sleep. So monitor your own health, your own mental and emotional health. Children will receive the energy and the vibration that you're putting out. They will feel your insecurity. They will feel your fears. They will feel your happiness, your joy. They will do that because that's what they are. They're very absorbent. Okay, in Montessori, we call that absorbent mind. Okay. By the way, I was a Montessori teacher for 14 years. Yes. So when they feel their parents being very cool and calm in spite of everything, they will likely follow that. See, the key phrase here is as above, so below. Those are the...
I like that.
I learned these 8 magic words from my favorite, beloved nun, Sister Fidelis Estrada. As above, so below. As within, so without. That means if you're it has so many levels of interpretation. So as above means whatever the leader is, whatever the qualities of the leader is, it shows up down there among the followers. So if the parent is very strict, the child will likely be very strict when he becomes an adult. If the parents are fighting all the time, children will most likely follow that energy. So here we go. So you need to be stable yourself, not prone to anger, criticism, suspicion, and nagging. So check yourself. How's your language? How's your body language? How's your love language? Okay? You are the older adult in any situation and you are the authority figure in the home. So what is your leadership style? That's my first advice. Check yourself. The second one, I only have 3 for you. Love. 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 Love changes everything. All you need is love. All the music is all about love. Love above all. Love with trust and faith, with humor and gentleness. Because these are tough times, Mia and Annvi, right?
Yep.
These are tough times. So be extra gentle without being permissive. In other words, know your grounds, stand your grounds, but you know how to say no gently. And you know how to say yes without giving up your own power, your own inner power. So my example here is when you say no, accompany it with a yes. For example, don't run. That's a no. Accompany it with a yes. Walk. Don't shout. Talk softly. So it's not just all about the no, 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 the thou shalt nots. We also give thou shalt. All right. So example, so don't stay too long on your computer all day, but you can spend extra time online if you sit here with the family. We get to hug you. We get to see you. You get to hear us. There's the no, but there's the yes. Or, for example, yes, you can spend extra time online after you wash the dishes. And then if you tell me you love me, if you will let me give you a kiss, something like that. So it sounds like a bargaining agreement, but it establishes
Loving.
your contact, yes, with it. The third advice is design the home environment such that it is conducive to happiness and the lightness of being. So go around, take a look to all our listeners, and to Jerry, if you're listening right now. Go around, take a look at your house. Go from room to room. Check it out. Is it clean? Is it light? Is it pretty? Is it sweet smelling? Is it orderly? Clutter free? Is it conducive? Because we are addressing the depression, the sadness. So you're sad, and you go to your room and you see everything dirty, unwashed dishes, cluttered clothes, dirty clothes, bad smelling. The garbage is still there, the trash is still there. Clean the house, right? So go around, make sure it's well ventilated, it's uncluttered, and it is pleasant to the eyes. In Montessori, we call this the prepared environment. I want to quote Dr. Maria Montessori, the prepared environment, so that whatever happens outside, regardless of the turmoil outside, the child comes home and finds the home safe and clean, conducive to growth and happiness and rest and all that. Everything that is good, that's home. What about your food? Are you preparing nutritious food? Is there enough clean drinking water for the entire family? And how do you enhance the home environment? Perhaps the curtains are too old and tattered. Change them. Or take them out. Let the sunshine in. Let the sunshine. So before we move on to the advice to young adults, so how about you, Mia? How do you keep your home environment? And how do you deal with your children? I want to ask the same question to Annvi too. Mia first. Alphabetical order.
Hey, Annvi should go first.
Alphabetical order in reverse. Okay, go
With
Mia.
my children, well, growing up, I was strict with them growing up because I want to establish their character. I want to build their character while they're young and then set them free as responsible adults. So, that's how I do it. We do it. So, we were very strict. We are still very strict, as Filipino parents. But, yeah, that's how we do it. And I think we're also very lucky because they talk about depression in school. And so, in my time I think I got depressed when I was in the Philippines, and I was an adult already, and I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was going crazy.
There was no COVID yet.
No.
Okay.
And I didn't even know what depression was. I just felt so sad. I didn't know what was going on. So I thought I was going crazy, as I said. But then my children, I think they talk about it in school too.
That's good.
Yeah. And so one time, one of my kids said, "Ma, I think I'm depressed." So I said, "What?" And so I said, "Just keep talking to me and don't do anything."
Okay. Yes.
So, yeah,
That's very good, to have an open line with your children.
Yeah.
And yes.
Very important.
Yeah.
How about you, Annvi? Do you have kids?
Well, we don't, not by choice, but we don't have kids.
All right. So how is it like for you? How do you take care of your own mental and emotional health? So you're not a parent, but you're probably a child still at heart. I don't know.
Well,
as a person,
what I will yeah, I would say as kind of an advice, maybe coming from an individual, and I take our family as a unit, a family unit, me and my husband, um, although we don't have kids. So what I always tell, even just, my friends, is that all of these things that we are going through from March, or from when it started, February? So all of these 8, 9 months that has been keeping us all down and giving us all anxiety. COVID, number one of them, the elections and everything else that's happening in the world that affects how we can relate to other people. These are all layers of anxiety that keep stacking on top of us. And, as an individual, a member of this small family, um, I would always advise that, you should allow yourself to work through these layers of anxiety one by one. And then you also allow your family members to work with you as a team, because we're not doctors, and we will never know. If there are written, you can read, you can watch, you can listen to all of these studies about depression and mental health, but we will never ever know when we are hit by it, when our family is hit by it. So I think the best thing to do within the family as a team is, to start listening, and start, if you are the one experiencing it, you allow yourself to be heard, is number one. That's why it's a lot of the suicides news that we hear, especially from kids. We don't know that they're going through that. Kids don't express.
Yes.
And it's not, I mean, it's hard for an adult like me, who is generally 100% happy, to express myself as someone who is sad and depressed by all of these, because number one, people already know me as a 100% generally happy person. So I don't know how to express that, much more a young child or a young person who doesn't have the experience to address these levels of anxiety. So yeah, what I always say is, work through it in their family as a team.
I love it.
And allow the trust, establish the trust, talk. If you're not ready to talk, take your time. Take one layer of anxiety, talk about it, or maybe half of it, and bring that up, with your family. And of course, if you are in that circle, if you're the parent or if you're one of the aunties, if you are in the household who is about to be in that discussion, take it up as it is, and just listen. If you don't have a particular knowledge about it, or basically it will come in from our opinion or our experiences, and that's how we will react to these little family discussions. But just take it little by little and listen to it first. And like I said, we will never know what the other person is going to need from us,
Right.
so just listen to that person.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Annvi. That is so precious what you said. Listen, and not just listen with your ears, you also listen with your heart. I like what you said about the team. So the team, the other member of the team at the moment would be the at-risk young adult in our letter, no? So for this young adults, I have only 2 pieces of advice. Or maybe not advice, maybe it's, I don't know how you call it. So here's one. Mental and emotional health go hand in hand. So here's an example. Mia or Annvi, who wants to volunteer?
As a child.
I have something for you guys. I just need a volunteer. Okay, Mia first.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll volunteer.
The reverse alphabetical order. Mia. So, for example, you go down and then you find yourself, you find out that, well, not, maybe someday, okay, not right now. One of these days, you go out and then you find that there's a parking ticket on your car. How do you feel?
Mad.
Mad? Okay. So what if it happens right after the show? You find a parking ticket.
I go to Kuya.
You go to Kuya Yo and then you do something about
I'll
it.
dispute it.
Okay. So yes, so that is a reaction. Okay, so I didn't say anything that's real. Okay.
I will do a no and a yes. What do you call that?
Yes. Nothing real happened. It was just a thought that I introduced into your mind, and then you went on to feel something. You went on to solve the problem, even if it did not exist. It's not existing, but you went on. Your brain went on to solve it, and luckily for you, you solved it with a sense of humor. All right. So Annvi,
Yes.
my situation for you is you find out an hour from now that you just won something. I don't know, from somewhere. You
Reverse
gosh,
alphabetically.
you just won
Again.
something big, huge.
Better.
How do you feel, Annvi?
That has happened to me, and I will of course feel excited and curious at the same time.
Like an hour from now, Kuya Yo will invite you to lunch.
Kuya.
And-
Get
and-
a ticket, she gets a winning
How does
lottery.
it feel for you? How does it make you feel?
That'll be exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. Mia is going to
Yes.
treat me to lunch after this. It's exciting.
Not anymore.
Yan.
Okay, this little exercise is the power of thought. I just introduced thoughts to you. They're not real, they're not happening. But see how we reacted. See, we have reactions coming from thoughts. So imagine, for you young people, and for you not young people, regardless of the status of anyone at home and regardless of their behaviors, you are responsible for your own thoughts. We are responsible for our own thoughts. We can question the thoughts. So even if I told you that Kuya Yo is going to treat you to lunch, dinner, and breakfast all in one, because he just loves giving away his money, you get to choose your thoughts and question that. Is it true? Okay, you young people, you are tech savvy, you're young and daring. Use your internet time to search on things that you really love, not on things that you hate or things you dislike. If you catch yourself thinking of fearful thoughts, then switch to some other thoughts. You have the power to do that. You're tech savvy. If you don't like someone's post in your social media, go to someone else's post. Go to my post. Okay, so all emotions and behaviors come from thought and interpretations of the thought. When you feel yourself getting sadder and sadder, this is where you ask for professional help. And the professionals I recommend are a psychiatrist or psychotherapist. So that's your assignment. Go look for them. You could find them in the hospital directory, or you ask around for professional psychiatrists and psychotherapists. You may go to a quack doctor if you really want, if that works for you, but I would not recommend that right now because we are on the dot. So check your nearest hospital if they have a psychiatric ward. Seeking mental help is no longer a taboo. It used to be a taboo, right? They call you a mental case, a nut case. Like when you use the word shrink, it sounded like a very bad thing. But now, no. In fact, it is now one of the most commonly addressed matters. Now, especially during this lockdown, if you cannot ask for help yourself, you go request someone to do it for you. Go to the professionals so you can be diagnosed properly. With proper diagnosis, you can be treated accordingly. Depression is so complex that there's no one-size-fits-all formula for dealing with it. Each
Yes.
case is unique and will entail individualized treatment. True story. My daughter, Nicole, who lives in the Philippines. I'm sorry, do I have a... Excuse me. Okay, there you go. My daughter Nicole, she lives in the Philippines. She's a 3-time suicide survivor. Okay. I asked for her permission. She gave me permission to share her story with you. Not the entire story, but what worked for her. So I'm not just talking about fictitious people. This is my daughter. She tried to kill herself 3 times in the span of 4 years. She asked me not to tell you how because she doesn't want to give you ideas, okay? So, what worked for her after her third attempt, her first attempt, nobody knew about it. After her third attempt, her friends set an appointment for her to see a psychiatrist at Medical City in Ortigas, Manila, because she just disliked going to hospitals. So, if you're in Manila, if you're in the Philippines, check your hospitals, check your nearest hospitals. Jerry, yes, I'm talking to you. It took 1 week for her to be seen by the psychiatrist. So now I don't know how long it will take for you to get a booking, but go ahead and do that if you feel that any member of your family is at risk. Nicole's vitals were checked, BP, height, weight, and all that. But right there and then, the doctor was able to diagnose her with major depressive disorder, not clinical depression. So the doctor was able to diagnose that because she presented everything. Nicole presented everything and urged her to be admitted to the psych ward under suicide watch. We have this here in our hospitals. I don't know about that,
Plenty.
Abby. Yes, your partner, your husband works with the healthcare. Yes, we have suicide watch. But Nicole refused to be admitted, and I did not ask how she got away with that. Obviously, she did. The doctor gave her meds and instructions for her friend who brought her to the hospital and her sister, my other daughter, to never leave her alone. So if you have someone at risk at home, do not leave that person alone. Keep your weapons of destruction away from that person. Keep them out of sight. Whatever the weapons of destruction may be, pills, I'm not going to mention any other because I don't want to give you ideas. So, and then for all the meds to be given with regulation. And then she went on to see her psych weekly, twice a month, monthly. Eventually, she stopped because she traveled. Apparently, her travel was one of her cures, her treatments. She needed to have frequent changes in her environment. That's why I said it's a different formula for every person.
Right.
Some people need consistency and routine. Some people need frequent change.
Yeah.
For me, I need frequent change. I'll die of boredom if I see the same thing. Are you the same? Raise your hands if you are the same.
I'm not. I'm not on structured days.
Yes.
It's got to be erratic for me.
Yes.
Different times, different schedule.
And then, so what worked for her as well? Where to stop hanging out with sad people. You know that saying, misery loves company.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, don't. It loves company, and it will build up on itself.
Right.
Where energy goes, where attention goes, energy follows. So hang out with happier people. Even if it's a family member or a friend who is sad, what worked for Nicole was to stay away from them. Be with them only when they're feeling well. So she had to sense that. She also found out her triggers and avoided them. She exercised, and it's okay because she's a dancer, a choreographer. Frequent change of environment, yes. Physical touch. Now, we cannot touch right now. So what can you touch? Maybe a pet,
Stuffed toys.
stuffed toys, your plants. A very intuitive teacher from the UK said in our group to hug a tree. If you've never done that, do that. It's so powerful. Walk on grass. That's another thing. Touch. If you can't touch another person, touch another being. And then she did the 4-7-8 breathing. Are you aware of that?
No.
Count
4 in.
hold for 7.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You want to do that now? Annvi?
Yeah.
Let's do Annvi.
Yeah.
Okay, inhale.
So you breathe in for 4 seconds.
Yes.
In 1,
Hold
2,
it.
3, 4. Hold it for 7, 5, 6. And exhale for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes. How did
Yeah.
that feel? Are you familiar with that, Annvi?
Yes, I guess in yoga and relaxation,
Yes.
meditation exercises.
How about you,
Yeah.
Mia? Are you
No.
familiar with that? There's another one. It's 5-2-5. 5. Okay. Relax. Inhale 5. Slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2. Release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember to open your mouth when you release. So that's one thing you can do at home, all right?
Yeah.
Then having a deliberately grateful heart, which is what she said. And that will be our process
that's
for
nice.
today. The grateful heart. Okay, so let's
Every day.
do that. Let's do Mia and Annvi. Let's do a little exercise on the grateful heart. I would call this the rampage of gratitude. Okay? So I will be calling out 10 items for you, 10 or less. And without thinking, just get to the very first answer that comes to your mind. Okay, so I'll give you instructions. So, are you willing to do this? Yes. For those of you who are listening, yes, you can do this too.
Do it with us.
All right. So sit nicely, sit comfortably, feet flat on the floor. If you can do that, uncross your legs, uncross your arms, be in an open sitting position. Inhale. Exhale. And if you want to close your eyes, go ahead, do that. I'll be calling your name and the item, and you tell me the very first thing that you really appreciate or are grateful for about this thing that I will call out. Are you ready? Yes.
Okay.
Annvi,
Yes.
your husband.
He takes care of me very well.
Great. Mia, your husband.
Loving.
Annvi, your house.
It just gives me all the comfort I need.
Mia, yourself.
Happy.
Annvi, your body.
Healthy.
Mia, your body.
It's a wonderland.
Annvi, your work. Your work, and
My
What's that?
work
yes.
is one thing I love.
Mia, Las Vegas.
I sell it.
So Las Vegas.
Good answer.
Annvi, Las Vegas.
It's fun. It's a fun city.
Fun. It's a fun place. Okay, one last thing. Mia, the Philippines.
My ultimate home.
Annvi, the Philippines.
All my family is in
Okay,
there, that's
one
why.
last time. I told a lie. One last time. One last time. PHLV Radio.
In cooperation with you.
Yes. Annvi,
The best,
PHLV
the
Radio.
best.
How about you?
PHLV Radio, they're innovative. I love them.
Yes, innovative. See, you may now open your eyes and exhale. How do you feel, Mia, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Grateful.
Oh, yes,
10,
grateful.
10.
You're a 10. How about you, Annvi?
I'd
do you
say
feel?
10 as
That's a 10,
well.
right? Earlier we went in at 8 and now you're both at 10. With just this very little exercise, very easy exercise. You can do this round the table, dining table. Call out every person, just do the round robin. Is that the right word, round robin? It's not. Just do the rounds and call out what you appreciate about something or someone.
Nice.
Maybe it's the pinakbet on your table. What can you say about the rice? Ooh, nice and fluffy, hot. All right. Or Coke. Oh, it's sexy. Anything at all. Anything that you can think of. And make it as quick as possible and as often as possible. That's one thing you can do to alleviate your feelings, your sadness, heal that. It's just a quick thing. So, are we good on that? Yes, I can see
Very
Kuya
good.
Yo. He's
It's awesome.
smiling a little bit. Yes, yes. So you can do that. You can do that at home with your friends, even online on Zoom. You can do that. See, don't be a stranger to each other. Don't be grumpy. Don't be stingy in giving appreciation and gratitude. So here's a tip for well-meaning advice givers from my daughter. She said, do not tell the depressed person to do this and not do that. In other words, do not cancel out any process or means for healing just because you have your own limitations. And I made a mistake of doing this because as a life coach, I said, no, you don't have to take meds. Just come to me and I'm going to coach you. And that's a mistake because I canceled out all the other possibilities for her. And it turned out that she really worked well with meds. She took her meds for 6 months, and now she's. I asked her before when she was a level 0 in her well-being. So yesterday she was an 8. Okay, she completed her meds. So just because you are such an expert on one thing, you don't offer the other person to cancel out other things, because anything might work. It's a world of infinite possibilities. So do not assume that only your advice is the best and the only
best
advice.
Right.
Yes. So
Beautiful.
we're not limiting ourselves here. You explore. It's a world out there of answers for your needs. And a tip to caregivers: if you are at home and you're caring for someone who's really depressed and very sad, be sure that you also have your own way of detox, your outlet, your way of balancing yourself. Like, is it yoga? Is it a prayer group? Do that. Find your own way of caring for yourself. Yeah? And so that's
Self-care,
it.
yeah.
Yes. And so that's what we're doing here right now. So we're done with the little process for today. I hope that helps people.
Very much, very much. And may I add to, when I was depressed and I didn't know what was happening, I was praying.
Praying.
Because depression is uncontrollable. That's something that people don't understand. You don't know when it hits you. So whenever it happens, I just go to church and I pray. You know what I pray? I tell God, take this away, whatever it is. Because I didn't know what it was. So
Yes.
that's what I pray.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can do that. What's your practice? What's your go-to, Annvi?
I'm a little attached to talking to my friends and my husband, so I speak out how I feel.
Yes.
And I meditate a little bit.
Yes.
So I just want to share real quick. One of the things that one of my confidants, he's even in the Philippines when, all of these were happening. And I asked him, do you think I'm depressed right now, or am I just going crazy? And you know what he said to me? I don't know if it will sound harsh, but it made me realize one thing. He said, you know what? This is a very special situation, right? Pandemic. And it's affecting everyone. Although it's a special situation, what I am going through as an individual, all of these layers of anxiety, is really not special. He told me, you're not special. He told me, which means you're not alone in what
You're not alone. That is
so you
true.
reach out to anybody at all, like right beside you.
Yes.
The hardest people you can call, you can talk to through Zoom or phone.
Yes.
They're all experiencing the same thing. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Yes.
I hid it
Yeah.
because I thought I was going crazy. So
Yeah,
people
me
saw
too.
me as happy, but I was very sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yes. We are very good at hiding things,
Yeah.
especially with our pride, our ego pride, And Nicole, it was hard to diagnose her from the outside because she was functional, highly functional, very charming,
Yep.
smiling all the time. So this COVID has pushed us to a reset, collective, global, human reset. Not just human, environmental.
Environmental,
And
yeah.
everything is triggered, emotional, physical. All the illnesses, all the angst from the past, the anger, the grievances from the past, issues with parents, with childhood,
Insecurities,
everything.
yeah.
You know, our politics, our politicians, our everything can be triggered at any time. So yes, you're not alone. You're experiencing something. Talk about it. Let it out of your system. It's better out than in. That's what my husband always says. You know, like a fart. Better out than in. And with that, I end my speech.
You go, John. Yes.
Yes, that's it. So thank you very much for joining us on the dot with Mia and Annvi
Thank you,
today.
Annvi.
I want to
Thank you, everyone.
We want to thank Kuya Johan. He is so
Kuya,
with
thank
us.
you.
Yes, thank you. Annvi, thank you so much. If you have anything else to
You're
say,
welcome, ladies.
yes, go ahead, say whatever you want to say. And I close my laptop. Yes.
You have anything to say, Annvi?
Oh no, I just want to thank you guys for all the sharing, and hopefully we reach out
Yes.
to the right people and then help a little bit.
Yes. Let us know if you indeed have won something an hour from now.
I'll let you know if I
I'll share
get a
it.
parking ticket too.
No parking ticket, just a party ticket, Mia. Party. Thank you very much. My closing quote for today is, as above, so below. As within, so without. Take care of your above, take care of your within. Yes.
And so you can download the PHLV app through Google Play and the Apple Store. And we leave you with the closing quote: there is hope, even if your brain is telling you there is none.
Yay.
By John Green.
Woohoo. Bye, everybody.
See you next week.
See you. Bye,
12 noon
Cherry.
Pacific time on the dot.
On the dot. You can find us on
Adios.
YouTube. Adios. Dankeschön.
From your PHLV radio family, Merry Christmas and all the best in the coming year.
Merry Christmas from your friends at PHLV Radio.